Mr. Eggplant presents.
Hey guys, Tyler here, and thank you for checking out this video. We are back here doing some more Mythic Plus action in Season 4 on my Marksman Hunter, and we find ourselves back in Ruby Life Pools. I promised I would never come back in here after getting my portal in Season 1, but yet here we are. So this is going to be this last week, so it's going to be the Fortified and Entangling week, and we're going to go ahead and start off by lusting here at the very beginning. We were supposed to do it right on the first pull, but we're going to lust here in just a second, and I'm just going to drop all of my cooldowns, and I'm going to primarily cleave off of the Primal Juggernaut. So I do have my 519 Nelthorax bow, so I have been trying to min-max that single target damage just a little bit, but there are some priority packs, some priority interrupts, like on the Chill Weaver, for example, and then a Purge that you want to deal with as well. I could have always done a better job of that in this key, although I have to admit, Cowpow and Galakron definitely put in some work on that with those knockups, good CC, so you don't have to worry about those abilities going out. So we did lust there, and we are just going to mow down this first pack. And I tend to stand back just a little bit, as you saw, because I try to bait the circles on the ground. It's much easier for me to bait them behind the group than if everybody's up close. So there is the ability that I need to purge off of there. It gets put on the elemental by the what are they? The Chill Weaver. There we go. So you just want to make sure and try to get rid of that as quickly as possible, because they're not. I believe it makes them unCCable, and that can definitely be a bad thing very, very quickly. And you know, I just realized on my screen, for whatever reason, my dragon riding add-on was up. Whoops, that's kind of weird. But we're just going to continue to use our cooldowns and do our normal rotation. So once I have my explosive shot up, I'll go explosive shot, then death chakram, and then throw down my volley, and then we just wanted to continue to extend the duration of volley as much as possible. I have 5 seconds left on my true shot, so in my head I know I'm not anywhere close to the boss just yet. There, I'm going to go ahead and artfully dodge that there. Little close, I have to admit. But it's now moved into a single target fight here until Zaf does pull a Chill Weaver. Unfortunately, it's the worst thing ever for a Marksman Hunter, 2-target cleave. But we do go ahead and bait the circle again. I'm going to go ahead and just mow down this Juggernaut as quickly as we can so we can keep moving. And then we're going to finish off the Chill Weaver as well. And then there is going to be a named, I don't know if it's necessarily a named mob on the way to the first boss here, because there's just one mob in front of us. Which is, it's the Defier Draghar. So this might as well be like, it's a mini boss, let's just be honest. You have the steel barrage there that you want to dodge, and that just puts the circles on the ground, and then it'll do a blazing rush, and then rush the way that the mob is facing. So you can bait that pretty easy. You don't want it to go firing off into the other room where it line of sights everybody. But this boss, I'm just going to call it a boss, definitely does take some time to kill, just because it has so much health, like 38 million health. But the nice thing is that I want to have my true shot up for the boss, so it was good that I popped it a little bit earlier. I guess I probably should have actually popped it on the mini boss. Hindsight is 2020, and that's why I post these keys after all, to make sure I can look back at what I could have done better in each and every one of my runs. And then before we jump into the actual boss fight here in just a second, this is going to be one of the normal groups you're going to see here on my channel. We have Zaf tanking for us, so we actually have double Paladin, double Evoker, and random Marksman Hunter, and we did really well in this Ruby Life Pools. I'm really proud of this run. Ruby Life Pools always seems to be one of those very annoying keys. In fact, we call it Ruby Death Pools a lot. So here, I'm not going to use misdirect on pull. I try to do a better job of that, because I'm going to want to misdirect all of the ads. So here, we don't do an amazing job at it as a group just yet, but whenever the Frost Shards come out, and I'm going to get the Chill Storm Storm, so I'm going to try to get away from my group as quickly as possible. I'm going to go ahead and use my disengage to get away, and then I'm going to use one of my defensives, and that just happened to be the Fortitude of the Bear. So whenever the hail bombs, you really want to group those up so they're, and then just kind of slowly move around the room. Here I'm going to go ahead and misdirect to Zaft because the awakened whelps come out, and these come out twice during this encounter. So I'm going to obviously do a lot of AoE damage here, but I'm cleaving off of Chillworn, which is the boss, because we want to burn. I don't know what percent it is exactly of her health. I believe it's probably 5%. That she gets a shield, and you have to bust the shield before you can actually interrupt her, because she's doing a pulsing amount of damage, and it definitely hurts. So here, the next person got the circle on them. See, I was even far away, and I still took a lot of damage. That's one of the problems with this fight for a marksman hunter. So I'm going to go ahead and use my misdirect again, send those infused whelps, and then I'm going to get back on the boss and then just cleave off the boss. Is this pad damage? Yes. Do the whelps need to die? Yes. Do you need to cleave off of the main target, which is going to be the boss? Yes. So it's I think it's not me padding the meters too terribly much. That way, you know, Zaft isn't taking all that extra damage. So here comes the Chill Storm, and we're at 30% health on the boss, so we're already melting her pretty quickly. No pun intended there. There I use my Exhilaration, and I've used my other defensive as well, the Survival of the Fittest. So I am pretty much out of cooldowns other than my potion, which is reactive. I guess you could kind of be proactive about it just because it does heal off the side or after the fact just for a little bit. But I'm going to go ahead and use my turtle here because I don't think I would have died, but I would definitely be guaranteed to live if I use my turtle. And I also knew that I wasn't going to have to turtle again, or I wasn't going to get the circle because she was almost dead. So alright, so we're already into the dungeon here, one boss down. We have one death, but it was, you know, no big deal on that. We did 434k on the boss. And then just let's take a look at my build here really quick as we're getting up to the second ring. So I have 2 blue silk lining in this run, and my uptime on that is 66.1%, which is a pretty decent amount. I shoot for at least 60% in most of my runs. My automobile is 504. My weapon is a 519 Nelthorax bow, and then I have a 522 Call of Dominance, or Call to Dominance, excuse me. Amazing trinket. Can't believe I got so lucky there. But whenever we go up to the top bowl area, we're going to go to the right first, and we're just going to literally unload on this first pack, and we have a fully pumped up dominance trinket, so we had all 10 stacks, and we had a full, I believe, 10 stacks of true shot extension as well. So I'm going to continue that into the next pack here, and then the opener that you want to do on these packs, or just get in the habit of doing a good rotation, is going to be that explosive shot, then death chakram, volley, and then rapid fire, aim shot, rapid fire, aim shot, and so on and so forth. Whenever the destroyer does his AoE damage, it puts a nasty dot on everybody. If you can help your healer out by using a defensive during it, the dot won't tick as much, and then also if you use turtle, you don't get the dot at all. So that's something that I would definitely take into consideration whenever you're doing your next run. Alrighty, sorry about that. I had an ambulance going by, and I didn't want to get that captured in the recording. So once these the blazes, as I get very close to dying here, had I not gotten a evoker help there, there was another siren. Whoops. So if I hadn't have gotten some help from my evoker, whether it be an Aug evoker or a preservation evoker, I would have died there because I was out of cooldowns outside of my turtle. In fact, I don't think turtle was up at that point. But we're going to go ahead and get up to Flame Gullet now. Hopefully we don't have any more interruptions. I do apologize for that. But Flame Gullet will do a bunch of AoE damage once he is once he gets cooking. So once he gets to 50%, that's when he's going to start doing Molten Blood and doing all that extra damage. Does a lot of damage, so you want to make sure and use your defensives here at this point. And then we'll talk about some of these pulls here in just a second as we get back to pulling the casters, for example. I wasn't able to talk about those because, you know, sirens, problems, that sort of thing. But the scary parts of this first area on Fortified are going to be Flame Gullet, to a lesser extent, although that definitely did just hurt. And then also the, I think it's Thunderhead or something like that. We'll see what the name is officially. But on these packs, there is some interrupts like Cinderbolt. You can go ahead and throw those interrupts at any time. And then we're going to have the big AoE pulse that's going to hit the Inferno there. So Inferno is the one that I should have used a turtle there, for example. That way I didn't get the dot on me at all. That's something that you can do to your advantage on a tyrannical week on the boss, because the same ad appears on the boss fight. So I'm just cleaving down as quickly as I can. We're going to have another Inferno come out. They do have a lot of health. And then the other ad was casting Blaze of Glory, which it just shoots out all of this this AoE fire damage and patches on the ground, which there's a lot of them, and it is sort of hard to dodge. He'll do that. The ads will do that whenever they're about dead. And all you have to do is purge off the shield that they have, and then you don't have to worry about them casting, because they have like 1 health, and then that's that. So we have these little Scorchlings that are going to follow us to the next area, and basically we're just going around this circle trying to just clear out everything, because you never know how far you have to take the second boss. Luckily, we actually mowed this second boss down. Like, everybody was on point, and a big shout out to Drexit, because we hadn't done this in quite some time and we made it look pretty easy. So as Zaft would say, we're going to take him up to the hot tub, that way, because the Thunder Drake is going to be coming through here, and that is going to be one of the scariest mobs in all of Mythic Plus, as we just dropped all of our cooldowns there and then just made quick work of that pull. The thing that gets you is that he flies and pats around pretty often, actually. He has set places where he will pat through there, and then set places where he will touch down for a bit, and we're trying to avoid him entirely, because he has a stacking, I think it's a magic dot, that does a ton of damage, and most of the time, as nobody felt safe with this on that little tiny ledge there. But he is one of the scariest mobs in all of Mythic Plus for Dragonflight, because he just comes up out of nowhere and he'll just kill you. Like, if you don't know exactly where he is in the ring, you just flat out die, because you're going to pull it while you're pulling one of these, honestly pretty nasty packs. Like, there's a ton of damage that goes out all at once. So we're just waiting. It was Thunderhead. So we're just waiting here so he clears out, and then we're going to go ahead and do a little pull here, and then we're going to pull into the next set, and then we're going to take it up to the hot tub again, as Zaft calls them. So there, I'm just cleaving on anything that moves right now. It's just a standard cleave. The Burning Ambition is the one that needs to be purged off, and that is something that if they get to, like, I think it's probably like 1% health, then that's when they start doing that big AoE that you want to avoid. So as long as you can get that purged off, it won't be too big of an issue for your group, because that Flame Dance, though, does hurt. I haven't tried to see if I can use my freezing trap. I think I can. More than likely I'll be able to. So I'll try that in my next run and report back. And if you guys already know the answer to that, please leave me a comment down below. So here comes the Inferno. I had a defensive available, but I am really thinking about using it on the boss, because the boss definitely scares me now more than this pack. Because this pack I can use Exhilaration to get through it, which you guys just saw me do. I let my Burning Ambition go the entire time on that Cinder Weaver. I should have done a better job of cycling through and figuring out if I needed to purge anything. Scared the heck out of us there when those Drakes went by. And then with Entangled, I didn't do it much in this, but you can obviously use your Disengage and break that no problem. The problem is that you have to be, everything behind you needs to be pretty safe, and I'm not super comfortable in this dungeon, if I'm just being completely honest. And Living Bomb is out there on Galakrond right now, and that is something that can really double tap you as well, particularly if you have the Inferno dot on you. So if you get that and you have some free defensives and the boss isn't like imminent, I would suggest popping one of those and helping your healer out. So we knew that Flamehead was coming, or Flamehead, good lord, Thunderhead was coming through here, so we grabbed all of these Scorchlings, because he's going to drop and land not so far away, just off screen. You can kind of see him in the corner there. And we're going to kill these Scorchlings, and then we're going to get ready for the boss. So looking at my stacks, I have a fully stacked up True Shot, so it's going to be 28 seconds, fully stacked up Neltharion's Call to Dominus. We are going to melt this boss. Again, no pun intended. So I'm kind of holding off on my volley until the Ritual of Blaze Binding comes out, which spawns the ad. We're going to turn and burn on the ad, and this ad is going to melt. Look at this. Like gone. It's just straight up gone. And the other ability that Blaze Hoof will do is turn it so they're searing blows on the tank. That's a tank buster. And then there's going to be what we call the meatball. So I believe it's it's add, then 2 meatballs, add, then 2 meatballs. So the meatball is the meteor, and it just turns. She will turn and look at one of your DPS, and then she will shoot it that way. And be careful, because if it hits terrain, it will explode. So here we are going to have another ad out. I'm going to use my turtle, and I avoided that entirely, and the ad does have an interrupt, but when you melt it as quickly as we did, you don't really have to worry about interrupting it, which is kind of nice. So whenever it does, it's the same ad as before, so when it dies, it does explode. We want to make sure and bait the boulders, so again, it goes add, boulder, boulder, add, boulder, boulder. So we want to be in a position where we're going to be getting a new ad, which there it is. Boss is at 20% health, so we still have to respect the ad. If it was really close, you just keep the ad interrupted, and then you don't have to worry about it. But there we go. We have the Inferno coming out. Everybody is relatively healthy thanks to both Galakrond and Cowpow. I got stuck in the trees because this is like the Ascension all over again back in Shadowlands. But there goes the boss, and we seriously we melted her. We did everything right. It did help that we got off to a really strong start on that first ad. Seriously, my trinket was putting in some work, and so was my True Shot, and we just flat out melted that thing. So here we're going to have quite a few different ads. It's a perfect opportunity for us to cleave. And using my build, I currently, in this video, which by the way, my build is down in the description of the video if you guys would like to check that out, is using light ammo. So we're getting some good extra damage on some of these bigger packs. But if your group is not pulling big packs, it's probably not worth carrying, and I would probably consider running with heavy ammo instead, since you really won't get much value out of Bulletstorm. So I just popped my True Shot here because I know I want to have True Shot up for the boss, or be almost off cooldown for the boss, or better yet, use it for the named ad in front of the boss. We do have to clear all of this trash before we actually spawn the boss, or it becomes active. So I'm going to drop down my volley and then do aim shot, and then I am just hoping for any sort of reset, which I did get. So that was most likely a double tapped rapid fire, and rapid fire does the #1 amount of damage right now for me in single target and for AoE. So it's definitely getting a huge boost thanks to our tier set, and then thanks to our talents as well, and all those amazing resets. So we've completely melted this pack here. Like between Oddwin and I, we were basically doing 800k DPS on this stuff in this +8, and then we're just going to group everything up. All of the little ads, when they die, they kamikaze, as you guys can see, and you want to make sure. And later on, this ad, the channeler here has an interrupt. You want to interrupt that, but it kind of acts like the mini boss will. So the mini boss, you want to make sure and burn through the shield, that the AOE damage that you saw there. Otherwise, you just you just die. Like, let's just be honest. And then the Channeler is the one that spawns the thunderclouds. You can always purge those as well. I did a terrible job of that. I'll be honest with you guys. I am really not comfortable in Ruby Ruby life pools. So that's something that I need to get in there and get more experience. And then I'm just looking, I kind of forgot to mention it. We did 2 chests this run. As you guys can see, we're really moving. And then I did end up doing 400k DPS for the entire run. And I'll be honest as well, Ruby life pools is not a key you're going to see much on my channel for Season 4. It's not a fun experience. I don't like this dungeon. And there's not a ton of big upgrades for me either, outside of items that I would turn into tier and eventually replace with myth track from my vault. So here we go. We're on the High Chandler, and this is going to be the named trash mini boss, honestly. And what happens is the Chandler will basically, all the little mini guys that'll be around, whenever it spawns those, you want to kill them as quickly as possible, because Tempest Storm Shield basically sucks all of them up and then gives the Chandler a shield. And here comes the shield. So the shield is up, but we burned through it because there was, no ads to pump up the shield. So then the lightning storm comes out. This is when you want to use a big defensive, but maybe not too big like turtle unless you absolutely have to. So shock blast constantly goes out, did a lot of damage, and puts a terrible dot on you as well. It's a magic dot, so you can dispel that. And then the storm shield is going off, and if we don't get through this shield, we're dead. We're dead. They're just flat out dead. We almost didn't make it. But this is going to spawn the boss, and this is a hefty percent. So we did just make enemy forces, and now we have the final boss, which is a 2-target cleave fight, which I still don't feel super comfortable with, but we do a better job in this run, and I'll continue to do that in future runs. So here, what we want to do, the 2 bosses don't share health. They both have a lot of different abilities, and we try to stay as ranged players. So, like the one of those that we have, technically. We try to stay back here as much as possible. That way, we know where the boss is going to spawn, and we can easily, not get caught out by the breath. And so, whenever the Drake is not around, I'll turn and take on the shaman. Otherwise, I am going to stay on the Drake as much as possible. So there's the flame breath that comes out. Winds of change pushes you around. It's not a big deal since we're going to be in between these 2 pillars, but the flame patches that are on the ground, thanks to the dots that you get from the Drake, those will move around. So here comes the fire breath, and we're already at basically 55% on the Drake, and very, very soon, I think it's at 50%, it'll transition, and then they'll basically be one. So we're trying to get an extra free round of attacks here on the Drake, which makes this fight significantly easier, which we did successfully do. And oh, by the way, the shaman, we don't have to worry about it as a marksman hunter, but the shaman does have an interrupt that will interrupt you and interrupt your spell casting. So be careful with that. Maybe if you were trying to use your explosive shot at the right time or something, it could it could kind of get you into some trouble. But here we go. We have the dots. I'm gonna throw everything because I'm dead otherwise. Here comes the turtle, and then I kind of did the turtle as well because I knew that the boss was looking at me. But we're not actually going to be able to lust this, so we only got the 2 lusts, the one at the very beginning of the dungeon and then the one on the second boss. But I got super unlucky and got a bunch of the circles, and those circles, they hurt. They do so much damage, and mind you, this is a fortified week. This is not a tyrannical week. And by the way, I have 19% versatility in this run, so it's not like I have no defensives either. But this boss is almost down. We made really quick work of it. On tyrannical, it's much stickier, as Zaft is very close to going down there. But overall, this was a fun example of how well a +8 can go. Zaft actually got Keystone Master in this run. I forgot about that, so congratulations to Zaft, my friend. Hard work paying off. We get 400k overall for this dungeon. And if you guys have any questions on my build, anything like that will be found down in the description of the video. I also have links to all my pertinent videos for Season 4 to get the most out of your Marksman Hunter. So thank you guys for watching. Best of luck in Season 3, and I'll see you next time.